All right, y'all, back again. It's Dion, your 49er reporter here. I'm going to get the simple stuff out of the way. If you like, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, hit that subscribe button. I will keep you up to date on any and everything 49ers at all times. So I am going to go ahead and give it to you straight, no chaser. And with that being said, let's get right on into this, baby. So we put a spanking on the Bucs, 31-17. And I'm going to start off by saying I ain't got no problems with this defense. Not a problem at all. None. We gave up 10 points as a defense, period. The reason you see the 17 is because Jimmy G threw a pick 6. So that's technically not a mark against the defense. What's the defense going to do? They went on the field. So, period, point blank, we only gave up 10 points from a technical standpoint. And we were ferocious. Like, we were killing them. It wasn't until the end of the game that they got going with the run. You know what I'm saying? Like, we handled them. We had 3 interceptions on Jameis Winston. 3 of them. And it came very simply because we had so much pressure on him, he just had to get the ball away. 1 pick from Uncle Sherm. 1 pick from McKellar with a spoon. Another pick from Mr. Nzacha himself. And Nzacha has played himself onto the field. We had one of the worst penalties I've ever seen in my life in the beginning of the game on Quan Alexander. So Jameis is sliding down. He's going down. Quan hits him. There's a little bit of helmet-to-helmet contact. And they give Quan the 15-yard penalty and kick him out the fucking game. If I'm not mistaken, that's just a 15-yard penalty, and if you do it again, you can get kicked out of the game. I didn't know you get kicked out of the fucking game right the fuck away. Like, that was ass backwards. That made no sense. None at all. So they sent Quan to the locker room. To me, it was a bunch of BS. Even Jameis Winston came on in his post-game presser and said, man, he was just playing football. It wasn't nothing. There was no ill intent. And there wasn't. Quan didn't try to tackle Jameis and hurt him or try to hit him in the head intentionally. Like, it was a bunch of bullshit. And I feel like the league needs to fucking amend that rule because you wind up doing too much, man. Like, there's going to be helmet-to-helmet hits, and I get it. I think it needs to be more on the basis of something being intentional and obviously intentional rather than it being a situation of, oh, there's helmet-to-helmet, 15 yards, the fuck out the game. That's stupid to me. That doesn't make any fucking sense that they kicked him out the game for that. That was just a crock of shit. And Quan was playing great when they did that too. Like, that's what's killing me. So, either way, defense still played amazing, okay? So we had 3 sacks on the day. And you want to know who those 3 sacks came from? I'm going to tell you. I'm tell you right now. Mr. Armstead. He came in and got his sack, baby. He was rubbing that belly. Nick got his first NFL sack in his first motherfucking game. So he went in. And then the next person who had a sack was D Ford. D Ford, his QB pressures are just tremendous. It wasn't fair. He was hitting any and everything. He put Jameis in the most uncomfortable of positions. They pushed him up into the pocket so many times because they collapsed it from the outside in. Like, they just literally did it. So it wasn't really easy. You know what I'm saying? DeForest Buckner didn't have a sack. But, you know what I'm saying? The one thing I can say is that our defense did this. You know, we had 8 passes defensed. With the 3 interceptions that we have, we've already beat our total from last year in 1 fucking game. And you know the reason that those interceptions happened? Because the front 7 had enough pressure on Jameis Winston to force him to throw balls inaccurately. I mean, when you have Uncle Sherm, take it to the house. When you have a Kello, take it to the house. When you've got Nzacha just picking the ball off. Like, these are things that have to happen. Like, we can ride this defense all the way through. I have no worries about the defense at all. None. We look fantastic. Fred Warner looked amazing. You know what I'm saying? Even when Quan went out, he still had a handle on everything. Tarvarius Moore came up with one of the best stops of the night. The Bucs were about to score again, man, and possibly tie this fucking game up. And we were like, shit. He threw that ball. Tarvarius broke on that bitch. He didn't pick it, but he knocked it down, which is all that mattered. And he was pissed that he knocked it down, but either way, it was the right play. Had he picked it and kept going, it would have been beautiful. That just would have been another pick. I'd have been happy with that. But the defense played amazing. Did wonderful. Great. And Mitch? And Mitch put the ball in the air so motherfucking long you could take a shit, come back, and still be waiting for the ball to come down. I'm telling you, just fucking ridiculous hang time. God, he kicked the ball. He put it in the air so fucking long, like it took forever. He put the ball in the air so long. This dude, I don't know who their return guy was, but he caught the ball like a dumbass. Mosley comes down and lays the smack down on his ass. So I'm like, why would you catch the ball and try to run? You don't have enough time. Mitch know how to put the ball in the air for 20 fucking years. Like, shit. Mitch Wisnowski is a motherfucker, man. So, the thing I am worried about, offense. The one thing we were doing, which was pretty stupid, was we kept trying to run up the gut. Now, you got a Dominican Sue and Vita Vea in the middle. You're not running up the middle of that fucking defense. You got to go outside. You have to stretch. Because your only hope is to be able to try to catch Levante David and Devin White slipping. Those are the guys you got to pretty much worry about. You know what I'm saying? Those are the dudes where they're going to be the ones trying to make the plays when you start to run that stretch zone type of offense. And we did that here and there, but we didn't do it enough. Now, Tevin Coleman went down with an unfortunate ankle injury. We don't know the extent of his injury. We probably will know more tomorrow, and they will tell us what's going on. If need be, he did go down, and he is, out for a period of time. I believe that Jeff Wilson Jr. is still available, and he did clear waivers, so we may be able to go ahead and call him up if we need him. But it looks like Raheem Mostert and Matt Breida did a good enough job. Neither one of them needed anything specific there as far as, too much help or anything like that. But the issue, like, we had a total amount of offense of 266 yards. That's a total offense. It's really bad, guys. It's not good at all. Jimmy looked like shit. And I know people are like, oh, it's his first game back. He's not going to run. I don't care about rest. I don't care about anything. Jimmy looked like shit. He looked bad. Like, the issue with Jimmy is that his timing with the receivers is so off. Like, he wasn't able to really practice with them the way he should have been able to. And he's trying to, relearn things as far as the receivers go. He had some balls that he put behind. He had a ball he put behind KB. He had a ball he put behind Marquise Goodwin. Like, his ball placement was just bad. The one time that he did have a great ball placement was the touchdown pass he threw to Richie James. He put the ball far enough over the defender so he can't even touch it. And James had an easy shot to run right into the end zone. You know what I'm saying? But it was just, and then offense, we had penalties killed us again. We had 4 touchdowns called back, all on penalties. Holding, illegal formation, just shit that we've got to clean up, So it wasn't really good, man. 98 yards rushing, and that was a combined effort between Breida, Coleman, and Mostert. 166 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So, once again, who's our leading receiver? George Kittle. He had 8 catches for 54 yards, so 6.8 yards per catch. Richie only had 1 for 39. Tevin Coleman had 2 for 33. Deebo Samuel had 3 for 17. He wound up fumbling the ball, but he did score on a 2-point conversion. So it looks like they're working Deebo into the mix a lot. I think they're going to try to play him more often than not because he has that fight in him. He's got that dog in him, per se, to be able to just go out there and make plays happen. He understands that he fumbled. He went back out there. He made up for it. So I'm not going to sit up there and be mad at him for that. But they didn't get Kittle involved until late, and it looked like they kept trying to run the ball. Like, we were pinned inside our own 10 several times throughout the game, and they kept running. And it's like, you can't run when you pinned inside the 10-yard line. I understand you don't want to throw an interception and give somebody the simplest pick six, but you have to be smart about that. Like, you can't just run off and not do it, you know what I'm saying, not throw the ball because you just pinned is stupid, you know what I'm saying? So our offense has just got to get their shit together. And we really have to get our shit together as far as that's concerned. Dante Pettis only had 1 catch for 7 yards. They didn't really have him in the game like that. I think basically Shanahan may have lost a little bit of faith in him. And he's putting the guys out there that are going to go out there and work, man, and get the shit done. That's why you saw more Devo. That's why you saw more Marquise. You saw more KB. You know, Dante's got to get out there and show him something, you know, that says I deserve to be on the field and I should be able to, you know, I can contribute to this team and I'm worth that second-round pick that y'all spent on me, you know, the year before last. So it's just us, you know, coming together and gelling as an offense. And Jimmy's got to get his timing right. Because when I say he was horrible, man, and he looked like shit, y'all got to watch the game, man. He didn't put the ball in the right places. I mean, I understand it's his first game back. He's knocking the rust off. But putting the ball in the right spots, you got to do that. You know, he had one chance where he ran and he got us a first down, but that shit got called back on a fucking holding penalty. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know everybody was kind of looking like, oh, shit, no, don't run, get out of bounds. But he did what he had to do. The pocket collapsed. He had nowhere to go. There were no receivers open, so he made a play with his legs. And he didn't look bad doing it. You know, he he got there. He did what he had to do. But in that same instance, Jimmy didn't wind up, you know, getting the first down because of that penalty. So the offensive penalties that we had were really, really bad. We did not do very well with that, you know. But I can say that our offense has to get their shit together. We lucked out on this game because our defense fucking carried us. So it looks amazing when you look at it from head to toe. We won 31-17. Scored 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 14 in the third, and 11 in the fourth quarter. You know, Tampa Bay only scored on offense 10 points total because the pick six on the defense doesn't count against our defense. Our defense, technically speaking, pick six on Tampa Bay's defense doesn't count against our defense. So this is a great start for us. You know what I'm saying? This tells us with one game we done already beat the interception total that we had from last year. So that tells us that we're going to go ahead and we're going to get in that ass. Now, next up for next week, we do have the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals went ahead and gave Seattle a run for their fucking money. You know what I'm saying? And they did lose that game, but from, you know, all accounts from what I hear, the Bengals went out there and they played their ass off, man. They did their fucking job. So I'm looking at right now just the stats from there. So this is wild. 35 out of 51. He threw the ball 51 fucking times. 418 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a lot of throwing. So that means that's a lot of opportunity for us to get a ton of different picks. So I'm just trying to take a look at their stats really quick just to see what happened with their shit and what they did. So they only had 34 yards rushing, so they couldn't really run the ball. Like I said, man, just ridiculous. So the guy that we're going to have to worry about and we're going to need help over the top with is John Ross, because that motherfucker's fast. Like, if y'all don't remember, man, this motherfucker ran like a 4.2 something in 40. And John Ross is a speedster. He's their Marquise Goodwin. So we have to worry about him over the top. We got to worry about Joe Mixon. So we just have to be very careful with our DBs and working up against those cats. Now it looks like their defense had about 4 sacks. So that looks good for them. We just got to be real careful with these cats, man, because if the Red Rider threw for 418 yards, and that's Andy Dalton, if y'all don't know what his nickname is, if he threw for 418 yards and 2 TDs, man, then that means that he did that against the same basic defense that we run. Our scheme may be slightly different in different things that we do, but it's basically a Seattle defense. So if you put up 418, we got to be very fucking careful about the holes that we leave open and the shit that goes on. But the difference between us and Seattle is we had 3 picks, 2 returned for, touchdowns today. And for them, I'm just trying to take a look at the Seattle defense and see what they had as far as anything. No interceptions at all. But we're solid, baby. Niner gang, Niner for life. Rep that red and gold till you dead and cold. I'll see y'all next week when we play the Bengals. I'll give y'all a little more of a preview after this, after this settles in and we just come down off this high, but I'm telling you right now, defense, solid. We ain't got nothing to worry about on defense. Nothing to worry about. We keep playing the way we playing, we're going to ride our defense all the way to a fucking Super Bowl. But offense, oh my God, we got to clean up a lot. Jimmy's got to get way better with his timing because he is so far off. He's throwing the ball behind receivers. Him and KB, him and Marquise, they've got to get their timing down. I think they need to just say fuck practice and let Jimmy work on timing with them. Period. Time every fucking thing because that's what they need. But y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay not faithful. I want y'all to have a great evening. Thank y'all for continuing to watch the channel and support me. If y'all know other people that like the 49ers, go ahead and bring them to the channel, baby. Let them know this guy right here, he give you the real, he give it to you raw, he give it to you straight, no chaser. Once again, 31-17 was our win. Defense only gave up 10 points. Holla at your boy. Be easy, man.